Georgia says it's ended a military rebellion and thwarted an attempted coup, despite growing questions over whether the uprising was genuine. Nonetheless, officials there blame Russia for what happened, something Moscow slammed as mad. The troops involved have been removed from the base near the capital following a visit by President Saakashvili. Well, we'll be crossing live to RT's Igor Piskunov, who is following the story from Tbilisi later in the programme. Well, Russia says it will not halt its diplomatic relations with NATO, even though the alliance wants to expel 2 Russian diplomats from its headquarters in Brussels. It accuses the 2 men of spying, but Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has responded. He's pulling out of this month's NATO-Russia Council meeting. RT's Anastasia Cherkina has the details.
The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov will now not be attending the meeting between Russia and NATO Council, which was scheduled for May 19th. And this is, of course, a very serious step because it proves to show how outraged Russia is by this whole situation, since this meeting was supposed to be the first meeting of such a high level between Russia and NATO after tensions grew during the August war in South Ossetia.
I'd say it's spiteful, and it's a provocation directed against Russia-NATO relations that have just started emerging from the impasse where the NATO people themselves drove them to after the August 2008 event.
Another interesting reaction we have seen is from the Russian permanent representative to NATO, Dmitry Rogozin, who has called this whole scandal a provocation. He has said that it is very likely that some Western countries are not interested in seeing a reboot between Russia and the West, the United States namely, and Russia and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, right when the relationship has only started warming up after the South Ossetia war. And basically he said that the 2 diplomats have nothing to do with the spying scandal. The Belgian government has confirmed its wanting an expulsion of 2 Russian diplomats who worked for the Russian mission to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Last week, NATO officials have accused these 2 Russian diplomats of being involved in spying. They connected their activities to an incident which took place several months back when a high-ranking Estonian official admitted to being guilty of spying, acquiring some documents from the North Atlantic Treaty Organization in favor of Russia, and NATO officials have said that these 2 diplomats that they have picked were involved in this scenario. The 2 Russian diplomats have been stripped of their diplomatic credentials and will now have to leave Belgium's territory as soon as possible, according to the rules.
Well, back to our top story, and Georgia says it's ended a military rebellion and thwarted an attempted coup, despite growing questions over whether the uprising was genuine. Nonetheless, officials there blame Russia for what happened, something Moscow slammed as mad. Well, the troops involved have been removed from the base near the capital following a visit by President Saakashvili. Well, we can cross live now to RT's Igor Piskunov, who has more for us on this story. Igor, the number of voices saying the uprising was staged is growing. Do we know what really happened?
Well, it's not really clear if this uprising has happened or not, but Georgian authorities did say that they sent around 30 tanks and armored personnel vehicles to this base. There's also a video now running of President Mikhail Saakashvili, who personally visited this base, and police say that the alleged mutineers have put down their weapons and are all now under arrest. But the opposition seriously doubts that all of this is true. They say that authorities use this to apply pressure on the opposition, and also they use this to divert attention of the society from domestic problems. And let's listen to what some members of the opposition had to say about this.
I know that source of instability in this country is the president and his just team. It's connected with the protest rally, and government was afraid very much of our actions and activity which we planned today and tomorrow, and I think that it's linked directly with this.
Over the last few months, we have seen the authorities throw dirt at any actions of the opposition. Very few people believe it. Even if that were true, society is hardly going to believe it. There are several motives for that, and one of them is to delay the action, avoid the ensuing outcry, and try to discredit the people that have taken to the streets.
Now, Igor, even if it was fake, several people have been arrested, but on what grounds?
Well, that's right. Georgian authorities did announce that several top military officials have been arrested, and Georgian TV is now running a video of a group of men allegedly plotting a coup. And the opposition also doubts that all of this is true, but the police, they say that these men are now accused of attempting a coup and being involved with Russian security services. And the police also say that this group of people, their aim was to stop the NATO-led military exercises, which are due to start in Georgia on Wednesday. But as I say again, the opposition really doubts that all of this is true.
Well, Georgia claims the coup masterminds were trying to disrupt NATO military exercises there. Will the drills go ahead as planned, do you think?
Well, so far we haven't heard any information about these drills, that they're not going to continue. So far everything is going according to plan. They're set to start on Wednesday, and these NATO-led drills are expected to continue for around a month. But Russia has been strongly criticizing these drills, saying that this region is just unstable enough for any types of military exercises to be held here. And let's listen to what Russia's envoy to NATO had to say about these drills.
It would be more logical to hold military drills in a madhouse. Even that would be better than staging them in Georgia. The fact that NATO is persisting in carrying out the drills shows the alliance is an accomplice of aggression.
So it's unclear whether this mutiny really did happen, or whether these actually it's not clear if this mutiny happened, or if this coup was actually plotted. But it just goes to show how unstable the political situation in Georgia is, and it's doubtful that these NATO-led military exercises will bring any stability into the region.
Okay, RT's Yegor Piskunov reporting from Tbilisi. Thanks for that. Well, Russia strongly denies Georgia's claims that it had a hand in today's mutiny. A spokesman from Russia's foreign ministry says Tbilisi is looking for a scapegoat for its own internal problems.
Today, unfortunately, we are seeing something that we have always been worried about. Uncontrollable political processes inside the Georgian society are immediately construed by the Georgian leadership as intrigues of an external enemy, that is Russia. This is a poor way to solve the problems of a society, especially in a region as flammable as the Caucasus.